Welcome back to Shadows Over Loathing. I super appreciate everyone who's been leaving comments reminding me of things that I've missed and needed to backtrack and take care of. I was away for about a week, so I had recorded, I believe it was episodes 58 through 72 ahead of time to give myself a nice buffer and make sure I wasn't missing uploads like consistently. Oh, he's fumbling his flashlight, trying to like do cool tricks with it and stuff. That's pretty funny. And so I haven't really been catching up with comments in that amount of time. But here we are. I've made myself a list of things that I've been needing to go back and take care of. But now I'm recording this at a time where I'm like 4 episodes ahead of myself again or something. So there could be things coming up between episodes like 68 to 72 that are not on this list. So again, if you guys could help me out, then I can get back around to things and take care of as much of this as possible. I'm honestly surprised that I haven't missed more things. Maybe I have. Maybe this is just the ones that you have remained aware of because they feel like relatively big deals to deal with. So, I'm gonna spend at least a few episodes working my way through this. It'll be kind of a good chance for us to get back on the same path, like caught back up to one another, if that makes sense. And then it'll be more clear what I need to be doing for like the finale of the game, the last couple episodes, however far off those are. Because I'm just scared to accidentally end the game, as I've expressed before. A trio of figures in hooded white robes step out of the trees around you. It's hard to tell if the robes contain person-shaped shadow monsters or if they're regular people whose faces are concealed by the shadows of their hoods. Well, not that regular people go around wearing hooded robes very often anyway. And whichever it is, it doesn't seem like they have good intentions. Oh, look at that. It's Alexa. Hey, what's your deal? Well, that clears it right up. Hopefully people understand who I mean when I say Alexa. It's funny seeing, like, stick figures in robes. You know, they're very form-fitting, very tight around the midriff. You won! All the black smoke leaks out of the robes pretty quickly after they're beaten, so you don't get a chance to question them any further. Not that it probably would have been any more effective than the first time. So, I'm going to the spirally thing, kind of knowing that there's nothing here, an unremarkable spot. So, last time I was here, this was the exact same. I just wanted to remind myself, was there anything here, like the first time around? And it seems like a resounding no. You see your past self in the distance. I have a note of this to give myself back the Mobius ring, which pretty well everyone in the comments has resorted to calling the Mobius ring. Heading up the road towards you, it must be time to give him the Mobius ring. It's Mobin time. You meet yourself on the road again. Good thing I'm not the Buddha. Not really in the mood for jokes right now, to be honest. Take this damn thing. Give him the ring. Jeez. Look, you know how this works by now. I took it, so you have to take it too. But I'm the earlier you. If I don't take it, then you won't have taken it either. I already did. Well, from your perspective, yes. That's the one that matters to me. And when you're me, you'll agree. Take it. I'm curious if this conversation is identical to how it played out previously when I was on this side of the conversation. Fine. What is it? The pain in the ass. You want my advice? Don't use it. Why not? Because you'll find out. Find out what? Honestly, it was worth it in my mind. The puzzle centered around it was really fun, and having myself assist in fights was really overpowered. Why you shouldn't have to ask. Why you shouldn't have used it. Ask Chester at Delphine Farm. He'll explain. Except not really. Does that mean I no longer have it? Dang. It's actually like a crazy... Oh, but I have another one? I'm equipping it again. It's a strong-ass ring. I want to hang on to that. So, I now need to first ask for candy. Okay, ask about something else. Is he not the one who moves the outhouse? Maybe I need to go back in time to then move the outhouse, then go back? Is that the order of things? Yes, I changed my mind right here at this spiral. You show him your postcard and point to the X your future self scribbled on it. Right here, please. Really? There's nothing there? Yeah, I'd like there to be an outhouse there instead. Well, the customer's always right about where they want their outhouse. That's a saying I just made up. We'll get it taken care of for you. What else can I do? That is all. And I believe I can't leave. I can't go. Yeah. So I got to go back to the future. I'm very curious because I don't remotely know what I'm like walking into here. On a moldering tree stump off the side of the road, you see a glowing mushroom. There's only one reason a mushroom like that would be glowing, and that reason starts with M and ends in agic. You pick the mushroom and harvest the microlumophagic bacteria inside. Microlumo, probably. Lumophagic. Awesome, thank you. Perhaps this place was more remarkable at some other time. Head in and see. Well, it wasn't remarkable back in the time when we moved the outhouse, or the present. What did they call it? The temporal nexus or something? There's like a river back there, and these trees and buildings and things are all like scrolling past. It also looks like we have a DeLorean here. Camp Crystal Dream. If there really is a summer camp in this crazy time nexus, it's got to be a liability nightmare. It looks like a car, but much cooler. See what's inside. I don't have a coat hanger right now. That's the first time I think I've needed one and didn't just like have one. The Nelson coach, this old stagecoach, is treating this ordinary sand as if it's quicksand. A really nice cowboy hat has gone down with the ship. This pristine hat has obviously never seen the inside of a cattle drive. Melee, magical, and ranged weapons, but you can't really use all at once, so it's a little bit redundant to offer upgrades to each of those. I'm probably not going to make use of that. Weird, like Dr. Seussian in trees. Oh, a robot half buried in weird colored sand. I was hoping he was holding a coat hanger, honestly. The glowing ring. You pry apart its pincer and grab it. Pure energy made solid, then bent into a circle a little bigger than the diameter of a human finger. On the third round of combat, rewinds time to back when you still had all of your HP. So in the third round, I just get to be full health again? That's like pretty useful, but I'll keep it in mind. Maybe it'll be useful in like a really big battle. It's an ancient sarcophagus. You approach the sarcophagus. The top has long since crumbled to dust. And it is empty. Wait, no it isn't. There's a jawbone on a very small pillow. You bend down for a closer look and hear a faint whisper. It still has a weird amount of life left in it. I beg your pardon? I'm sorry? Still can't hear it. This seems kind of rude, but so is leaving without hearing what it has to say. You pick up the bone and hold it to your ear. Do I need to reassemble the skeleton? Come on, please speak up. Closer, stick it in your ear. As far into your ear as you can. Stick your finger in your other ear. You jam your finger in your ear, close your eyes, and listen as hard as you can, and undying. What? Undying! Okay. You put the jawbone back in the sarcophagus, and in doing so, notice something yellow hidden under the pillow. You grab it as a reward for your patience. Smiling face button. This is an abstract representation of a smiling face made out of bakelite and painted bright yellow. It could be like bakelite or something, like some sort of mineral. Muscle, mysticality, and moxie for an accessory. That would have its uses. There's like really specific things like the boardwalk mini game or whatever, where that would probably be useful, but I don't think I'm gonna play around with it. Is this the same outhouse? Go through and find out. I am curious. That's something I do want to learn, but I also don't want to miss out on anything overly important in this area, so I'm going to leave. I definitely want inside of that car, and I hope that I can just buy a coat hanger at the hardware store. I assume that's a thing. You wander off the main path and stroll along among the trees for a bit. It's nice to get out in nature for a bit, at least until you walk into an invisible spider web and it gets all tangled in your hair. While flailing around disgusted, trying to get it off of you, you stumble into a second spider web, which goes right across your face. The double spider web, classic. It happens both when you least and most expect it. The first spider web is when you least expect it, and the second is when you most expect it, because they always come in pairs. I spent a lot of time working in forests up north, and like, I don't know what it is about the spiders in that area, but they just build their spider webs at like face height, and you just walk into them with your face. Like, maybe I'm walking through them with my torso all day and you don't notice, but they always get your face. So for a while there, when there was a particular area where the spiders were just so much worse, me and like the guy I was working with just took like rulers or like sticks or whatever we had and like kind of walked around like that so they would catch the webs, because it's gross. And yeah, you do panic and then you feel like an idiot, but it's also like all in your mouth and stuff. Awful. And that's how staggeringly blindly you get yourself tangled up in a third spider web. That's just bad luck. That almost never happens. This one is much larger and stronger and made to trap prey of more or less your size. The extremely large spider sitting in the corner of the web looks delighted to see you, and inasmuch as a spider can smile, this one's smile has poison dripping off of it. I'm just gonna rip out and escape. With a yell of power and/or terror, you yank yourself free of the webs and run away, leaving behind an annoyed and disappointed spider. Phew. Please tell me you just sell a coat hanger. That would be much appreciated. I might have to like run around. It's not gonna be at the pet store or anything. I didn't want to have to start running around like this, but I kind of just want to deal with this. I want to be thorough. It doesn't really seem like this would be a surplus item. Ooh, a blue officer's sidearm. They're made hard to find these days due to them all being made out of cheap plastic. There's a whole bunch of things here that I potentially never inspected. A gargoyle charm, a little wooden gargoyle on a leather strap, whittled by Charles Wallace. The base has the motto, "Keep on truckin'," carved into it. I'll support Charles and his woodworking side hustle. I also, it just makes me think of Goliath and the gargoyles. They're just the best, man. That show ruled. That's the one that most stood out to me. I'm just gonna leave that alone. I did get to use smelling salts once, not because I needed them, but because someone had just like gotten a hold of them. And they're wild. You sniff that while you're awake and it feels like you just drank 3 gallons of coffee all at once. Like, it's insane. I have a message there that I'll try to remember to follow up on. These are all so specific that none of them are going to just sell coat hangers, right? In which case, like, none of these, where the heck do I normally get those from? Like, I think I entirely just am randomly finding them the vast majority of the time. There's not really just shops around here, is there? Probably not a lot of traffic coming through that miserable location. The feed and tack has some potential. Oh, but it's like closed up. Wow, that's a real bummer. Can I make one? It's combat items though. I'm gonna have to look it up. I don't know the best way to get one. I don't know how accurate this information is, but I'm seeing from someone in like the Steam discussions that there are 5 wire coat hangers in the game, and there are 6 instances where they're needed, and so there's like a very genuine chance that I just won't be able to access this. And I don't think there's anywhere in the game where you need a wire coat hanger. It's probably just like meat or something. Maybe there'd be like a cool item. But I didn't really, they like laid out specifically where the 5 coat hangers can be found. I've been finding them very randomly just while progressing around, so like, I may have already found all 5. I'm not going to spend an exorbitant amount of time trying to figure that out. I'm just going to convince myself that there's nothing worth retrieving from that car. That seems like my solution. What? Is everything all right? My Roscoe is getting rusty. Let's blow this joint. That was it? I just get to go and collect some weird oddities? Dang. I'm pretty bummed that I can't get at that, because there's not a lot else to be gathered from here. The smiling face button, there's a couple like good items, and probably there would have been one more in that car. I thought it would be a little bit more of like a quest going on in there. So I think I'm gonna call that one taken care of. Next, I need to head to the museum. Is the museum where I want to go? I'm losing track of things a little bit. I will check the meat return. Look at that. I got myself some cash. The Sandwich Museum. So I stopped this place from burning down. And I need to... There should be like a commemorative plaque for this not getting burnt down. If I'm understanding the hint I was given correctly, I kind of am half forgetting what was the thing is that I saved from getting burnt down. I did that, right? I did stop something from burning down. So down at the bottom here, all of that. Am I in the right area? Because there was a lock stopping you from going somewhere in particular, and I thought it was down to the cellar, but I've clearly already been there. But I don't recall ever properly resolving the lock. No, I don't think I need to go up top. The main thing is that wherever was supposed to burn down, that didn't. No, that was the trial. There's another plaque at the back, but that should probably just be in something about the altar. One of these houses was the one that almost burnt down. All of the dates, these like 1600 dates, I think are too long ago to properly come up in the newspapers. I guess I'll quickly fish. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I stopped one of these houses from burning down. I think I went back in time and stopped that. Maybe I need to come back here and go back in time again? Maybe that's how you get the lock for the house, is to go back in time again. That's what I'll do. That's my next step here, because I think I'm done with the swirly thing. I've done it. Seems resolved. There's the padlock that I never gained access to. We'll know soon enough, right? The museum. Yes. So many steps involved to go through all that. Okay. Yes, back to the museum. I will be able to go back in time. There is a newspaper, discarded newspaper, has a very specific time attached to it. Ladies just like waiting for her husband to return, right? This is where things would have burnt down. So that has been stopped. That did not happen. This is where things are locked up. Okay. The amount of steps required here. It's okay though, because I needed the reminder. Which has nothing particularly unusual about it except for the witches that lived there. And inside, there's the old plate, Hallows Eve, the specific date. This, again, nothing really. Do you need to tell me about the house? Ask him about the exhibits. Okay, I think that's everything I could have done there. So what I need to do now is go to the newspaper shop. It's obviously not the right word. And probably, see, 1600 comes from before all that, so that's not the case, but I do have some new dates, regardless, which is, I must not have checked this in a while. April 18th, 1805. You find something interesting. You check the files of the date mentioned in the letter from the insurance company. Sure enough, there's a big pile of meat in here. It's old and dry, but it'll still spend. I'm okay with it being jerkied meat. I'll still take it. Oh, hiccup. March 25th, 1808. Unusual events. Residents of Porkham astounded and terrified by a tower of black fire that shot out of the roof of the Seaside Institute of Technology's administration's building. Fortunately, the blaze was surprisingly well contained and did not spread to other buildings, or even rooms. Assistant Dean Benwald Jeffy perished in the event, and Dean Lucian Wormwood is missing, presumed also dead. The cause of what is now being referred to as the Black Fire incident is unknown, but as one observer put it, what will all the stuff they get up to, with all the stuff they get up to there, it's honestly surprising this sort of thing doesn't happen more often. I'm going to make a note of Benwald Jeffy, which I've maybe read up on before, and Lucian Wormwood. Writing that out. I wrote Wombwood, like W-O-O-M-W-O-O-D, Wombwood. I think maybe I did read up on those two, and that's potentially why I even knew about that to read about it anyways. July 22nd, 1828. The biggest headline on that date is the daring midnight theft of an entire model village from the Grey County Fair. That must be where the Puckwudgies got their buildings. A crime for the ages. That's pretty funny, actually, to live in a model. July 1876. Very vague. Oh, look at that. There is the October thing, which I think is connected to that. It was founded by a man named Fulk Proctor and was considered a nice, if unremarkable, little village until traders found the town completely empty in early November 1692, apart from one dark-eyed old man who joined them on their route back to Ocean City. After that, the town remained abandoned and undisturbed due to rumors of a haunting or a curse. I need a 5-letter word in this, and I know it's a German word too, in this whole like thing. There's like nothing. Ocean, I know it's not ocean. Folk. Fulky? I don't know. but I'm gonna go with that. And July 1876, this month's paper tell of the McElhatton murder trial, which ended in a mistrial when the star witness was metamorphosed into a tree. The third such incident that year. Mr. McElhatton praised the outcome as a victory for the rule of law and forestation. Nothing from there. March 6, 1917. This morning, an unexpected explosion destroyed a barn in Grey County. Captain Alvin Hamlinado of the Grey County Fire Brigade reported that the fire was, pretty well contained, nothing to worry about, no problems here, and that it was probably caused by some hay exploding weird, and that we should go away and don't ask me any more questions. Funeral services for the farm's residents will be held tomorrow at St. Polycarp's Cathedral in Ocean City. Seems reasonable. That is that. I know directly where I need to go and what I need to do, more or less, but I'm making a stop at the library just before it's out of mind to consult the directory here. So I have Jeffy, Benwald Jeffy, awarded the prize, look up somebody else. So this is how I had it spelt on my thing, just kind of like trying to talk and write at the same time. Wormwood. Lucian disappeared after the Black Fire incident, presumed dead. So I don't think I am needing to go back and look that stuff back up again, but like maybe there's a reason to. Instead, I'm just gonna head back to the Sandwich Museum, and I'll have the folk to try. You pull up short, having nearly walked straight into a huge spider web while you weren't paying attention. Again? Although I guess some part of you was paying attention. Good job, whatever part that was. You turn your head in another direction and soon find yourself stopped by another big spider web. So you turn around and try another direction. Nope, that path ends in a big spider web as well. Looks like the attention-paying part of you wasn't paying enough of it to keep you from getting lost in a huge spiderweb maze. Maybe in the future you should pay attention to these yourself instead of just delegating. I could solve it. If I plow through, I'll probably get like a negative trait or something. With some careful mental mapping, you eventually manage to navigate your way out of the maze. Somewhere nearby, you hear a chittering noise that is probably the spider's equivalent of shucks. Aw, nuts. Enter the combination. There's the very limited combination of letters you can use. I think it would be really funny if the solution was fluke. Just because, like... It would be a fluke to correctly guess it, you know? So that, there's like joke potential there. But folk, I will do that. Can't say it's surprising that nobody names their sons Fulke anymore. Anyway, the cellar doors are unlocked now. Sounds more like Scandinavian than German. Fulke. Depends how you say it, I guess. So, there's a golden pocket watch on the shelf, which we found on the floor in like the present time. A shelf of dry goods from before wet goods were even discovered. They exclusively canned. You never had anything fresh. A shelf full of books so old you can't even parse the titles. Really? None of them? Well, there's one with the word blood in it. That probably means blood, and you're interested in blood. The Encyclopedium of Blood. It's a good thing human anatomy hasn't changed in the last 300 years, or this book would be way out of date. Grants the upgradable skill Blood Lore. Sure, let's gain Blood Lore. A historical reference text on blood, describing in the introduction as the new fascination sweeping our veins. Dive in. You learn that blood, was once considered one of the 4 humors, along with dad, shock, and reference. Like dad jokes, shock jokes, and reference jokes. Which this game has all of them in plenty, not really shock. But dad and references are heavily featured. You got a perk, Blood Lore. You've learned a lot about what people used to believe about blood. Oh, I thought it was going to be a skill. A perk is even better. I will read further. You learn that letting the blood out is considered best medical practice because blood needs 30 to 60 minutes of outdoor exercise a day. Bloodletting, letting the blood out. Skill upgraded. How often can I do this? Not until the 13th century did physicians discover that blood was circulatory, i.e. it traveled around the human body. Some still believe that blood could travel even faster if it had wheels. Reading Dracula, like the original Dracula, there's a moment in that where they discover, I'm gonna forget some of the characters' main characters' names here, but like, the main guys, Jonathan Harkin. Am I getting things mixed up with like the Harkonnens and Dune? Doesn't matter. The main character's like girlfriend is getting her blood drained a little bit each night by vampire, probably Dracula. I don't remember. And they like recognize that she's low on blood, and they're like, "Oh my God, we got to do something about this. We better put more blood in this woman." And he's like, "I will do it to take it straight from my veins. I offer this up for you." And Dr. Van Helsing is just like, I'm ahead of my time here, and I have this brand new procedure where I'm going to connect our veins, and you'll bleed into her, and it'll be great. And then, like, the night after, she gets her blood drained, and Jonathan's like, I have no more to give. So Van Helsing gives his blood, and then the next night she gets drained, and someone else steps up. And they give her, like, 4 or 5 different people's blood. And reading it, I was like, this is insane. That's not how this works at all. Like, so I had to go looking up the timeline of it. And, like, the thing of hooking people up to each other to give each other their blood was new. It was, like, brand new when that book was written. And it predates the discovery of blood types by, I forget, it was like 4 or 5 years or something. So there was a window of time there where they learned how to give blood from one person to another, but they didn't understand that, like, you can't mix blood types. And so people were just chucking blood into each other, and sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. And they were just like, I don't know. But the book it like predates that, so they weren't aware of it, and so there's zero consequences to just throwing like 6 different people's blood into this woman. It was very fascinating. Dracula's a great book, by the way. I totally recommend it. It's like super creepy. Some of the chapters in particular are just like unreal. It's a very good book, and there's some really funny products of its time like that, because it's an old as shit book, like 1800s or something. I kind of forget. Totally tangential, but just very interesting to me, so I wanted to share. The book ends with the suggestion that leeches could be used for bloodletting, and if leech labor laws were relaxed, they wouldn't even need to be compensated. You're learning a lot from this book, though maybe learning isn't the right word. I will keep going. Oh, let's get it over 50. There we go. That 51 HP, it's a huge bonus, and I can basically come back to that at any time. Huge benefit. I'm just trying to inspect this. There you go. A gold pocket watch on this shelf. The inside lid of the pocket watch is engraved to my son, Tom, on his 12th birthday. Well, that answers the question of what happened to Tom's watch originally, but in turn raises some additional questions. Since you effectively duplicated the watch by bringing back the one from the future and giving it to Tom, it's probably best to leave this one here. Things could get real weird if you gave Tom this one as well. And the magical circle. Someone chalked a magical ritual circle on the cellar floor. That's ominous. Mess with it. You find some chalk on a nearby shelf, erase the circle, and redraw it backwards. That should throw a wrench into someone's plans. Yes, indeed. I actually got an achievement for that one, titled A Witch in Time. You've saved the village of Sandwich. Wow. I didn't expect that to have quite so dramatic of an effect, just full-on saved. Hey, well, I can feel proud of what I've done for these humble villagers, stupid as they may be. I gotta follow up on some of that now. This young lady looks... Do you know what? I'm gonna wrap up the episode here. I got like my checklist of stuff that I'm taking care of. Let me cross off a couple items that will feel satisfying for me. Oh my gosh, I still have quite a bit more left to do here. I gave them ring back to myself too. Some of these I'm less certain how doable they're gonna even be with the information I have. I think it's enough, but this is fun. It's a fun opportunity to come back and revisit these things. I didn't even make note of the imp puzzle. I guess I'll make note of the imp puzzle. That one has baffled me so much that I'm like nervous to return to it, because I just feel like that one's got me like stumped. Can't figure it out. Have yet to remotely know what to do there. A little low priority on my list. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave your episode title suggestions below, and I hope to see you again soon.